Welcome to the Bandano Podcast, where we're calling a spade a spade. Great to be here with you guys today. CaitlinClark gets kneed in the groin, punched in the throat. Alyssa Thomas puts all of her body weight on her to stand up after falling to the ground, punching her and kneeing her in the groin. No foul gets called. They play on. CaitlinClark shoots a three. A player on the Phoenix Mercury gets into her landing space. CaitlinClark comes down on her foot. No flagrant called. CaitlinClark comes up, holding her back.
The silence was finally broken, but not with words. It was the look on CaitlinClark's face, as she was escorted to the back, that said everything her PR team tried to hide. After taking a brutal blow to the throat and a knee to the groin from Alyssa Thomas, the WNBA superstar reached her absolute breaking point. This wasn't just a physical assault on the court, it was a psychological war. The league watched in silence as their golden girl was treated like a punching bag. And now, the fallout is threatening to burn the entire Indiana Fever organization to the ground.
With CaitlinClark, Stephanie White, you ride with Alyssa Thomas, you ride with DeWanna Bonner. You don't ride with the CC22. You wish you did. You want people to think that you do, but you don't. You ride for Alyssa Thomas. You ride for DeWanna Bonner. You don't ride for CaitlinClark. You don't ride for your team. The only person you might ride for is Kelsey Mitchell. You're disgusting. Number one. The fact that you didn't get a technical today lets us all know you don't have the cojones, the gonads, the heart, the will, the want to.
The violence started early, and it was personal. Alyssa Thomas didn't just play hard, she played dirty. Imagine falling to the ground, and instead of getting up, you use your entire body weight to pin a rookie down while jabbing your fist into her throat. That is exactly what happened to CaitlinClark. There was no foul called, no flagrant review, and absolutely no protection from the officials. It was a clear message from the old guard of the WNBA, you are not welcome here, and we will hurt you to prove it. The lack of skill was replaced by pure, unadulterated physicality.
Disgusting. Number one. The fact that you didn't get a technical today lets us all know you don't have the cojones, the gonads, the heart, the will, the want to stick up for your players, and you don't have the care to stick up for CaitlinClark. You don't care about that player. You look at CaitlinClark, that's your meal ticket. That's the person that's going to get you on a national stage so you can get credit for things that you don't deserve credit for. That's the person that you're going to hitch your wagon to so you can get all these broadcast jobs. So the Indiana Fever and their 2,000 fans can glaze you and kiss your behind. While the real CaitlinClark fans are like...
But the nightmare was only beginning for the rookie sensation. Moments after the throat punch, Caitlin was back on the perimeter, launching a three-pointer. As she came down, a Phoenix Mercury player deliberately entered her landing space. Caitlin landed hard on her foot, her body contorting in a way that made every fan in the arena gasp. She immediately reached for her back, the same back that the Indiana Fever coaching staff had been lying about for weeks. The referees stood by, hands in their pockets, as the most valuable player in the league limped away in agony.
CaitlinClark left the game late in the third quarter. The Indiana Fever lost, and to be as transparent as I possibly can, I don't care. To be as transparent as I possibly can, to be as upfront and honest as I possibly can, I don't care. CaitlinClark's not playing. Whatever. Okay, they lost. So what? Kelsey Mitchell should have carried them to the victory, right, Stephanie? Right? Kelsey Mitchell should have carried you to the victory. The hub should have carried this game. No, you lost CaitlinClark. You lost the game. Yeah, good for you. What we all care about is CaitlinClark leaving the game with a back injury.
Where was Stephanie White during this absolute carnage? She was on the sidelines, arms crossed, seemingly more interested in her own reflection than her players' safety. Fans noticed the weird behavior, the twitching, the sniffing, the total lack of emotion as her superstar was being dismantled. This is the coach who claimed she would ride for CaitlinClark. Yet, when the moment came to get a technical foul or demand a review, she stayed silent. It was a betrayal that felt calculated, leaving Caitlin to fend for herself in a league that seems to want her gone.
Right, Stephanie? Right? Kelsey Mitchell should have carried you to the victory. The Hub should have carried this game. No, you lost CaitlinClark. You lost the game. Yeah, good for you. What we all care about is CaitlinClark leaving the game with a back injury. The same back injury that Stephanie told us wasn't an injury. The same back injury that they tried to hide until they got called out about it. You can see her walking gingerly to the back right there. Now the question is, how does she sustain these injuries? The Indiana Fever update, CaitlinClark will not leave.
The truth about Caitlin's injury is finally surfacing, and it's much darker than anyone imagined. For weeks, the Fever organization tried to hide the fact that she was wearing a back brace. They called it load management. They fired reporters like Scott Agnes for simply telling the truth. But you can't hide the way someone walks when their spine is screaming. Caitlin has been playing through levels of pain that would sideline most veterans, all while her own coach tells the media that there is no injury. The gaslighting within this organization has reached a truly disgusting level here.
Knee in the groin, fist on the throat. They hate that white girl. My reaction. You don't like it? Too bad. Knee in the groin, fist on the throat. They hate that white girl. Look at this. She falls down. Here comes Alyssa Thomas. Knee in the groin. And here she comes. Fist on the throat. Knee in the groin. Fist on the throat. Alyssa Thomas doing what Alyssa Thomas does. Showing what a talentless hack she is.
It's becoming increasingly clear that Stephanie White cares more about her relationships with veteran players like Alyssa Thomas and Dana Bonner than she does about her own rookie. Why didn't she crash out over that throat punch? Factual reports suggest she's protecting her future broadcast career and her status in the WNBA's inner circle. To Stephanie, CaitlinClark is just a meal ticket, a way to get on a national stage and take credit for success she didn't earn. She's hitching her wagon to a star while letting that same star get beaten into the floorboards.
Talentless hack she is. Showing what a talentless hack she is. When you don't have skill, you use physicality. Alyssa Thomas. Again, folks, this play, no foul, no flagrant, no review. Just CaitlinClark, get up and play on. And then she leans all of her weight on CaitlinClark, getting up while continuing to jab her in the throat. No play here. And they said the referees were going to call this game tight. My ass, they were going to call this game tight. My ass.
In the locker room, the atmosphere is reportedly even worse. While Caitlin is in the back, getting treatment for a potentially season-ending injury, the old guard is dapping each other up and high-fiving. They love seeing the new girl humbled. They want to keep their little clique together, and they don't want the spotlight that Caitlin brings. It's a toxic environment where the veterans would rather lose games than see a rookie succeed. The Indiana Fever didn't just lose the game to the Mercury, they lost their soul and their integrity in the process.
First, we know that Jamel Hill and Chris Williamson, two of the biggest race baiters in the WNBA space, happier than a pig in shit seeing this crap. Oh yeah, by the way, CaitlinClark. Knee in the groin, fist in the throat. Yet I'm supposed to take people like Annie Constable, who said that she's a diva and she can get the WNBA to bend to her will, seriously. I should take these people seriously. Interesting. That's why we can't take them seriously, because they're a joke. Not only is Jamel Hill and Chris Williamson happier than a pig in shit, you know who else is happier than a pig in shit? Stephanie White, I'm sure. Because in Stephanie White's mind,
the numbers tell a story of a player who was on the verge of greatness before the hits became too much. Caitlin was on a heater, heading straight for a 30-point performance that would have silenced every critic in the country. But as soon as she started heating up, the target on her back grew. The league officials seem to have a different set of rules for her. When she gets hit, it's just part of the game. When she complains, she's a diva. The double standard is so blatant that even casual fans are starting to call out the DM and corruption in the officiating. Let's talk about the management team that allowed this to happen. Kelly Crossoff, Lynn Dunn, and the rest of the front office are sitting idly by while their billion-dollar asset is being destroyed. They need to clean house. From the coaching staff to the medical team that tried to conceal the injury, nobody is safe from the backlash. The fans aren't stupid. They see the back brace. They see the limping. And they see the lack of support. You can't kiss the behind of the old guard while your future is being punched in the throat. The media coverage has been equally shameful. We have figures like Jamal Hill and Chris Williams who seem happier than a pig in shot, seeing CaitlinClark struggle. They feed off the controversy and the racial undertones of the league's physicality. They call her a devil and claim she makes the WNBA bend to her will. Yet, she can't even get a common foul called when she's being KN. The hypocrisy is staggering, and it's all part of a larger narrative designed to tear down a young woman who did nothing but play basketball. Caitlin's exit from the game late in the third quarter wasn't just a medical necessity. It was a statement. She could no longer go out there and risk her career for a team that wouldn't even stand up for her. When she walked gingerly to the back, the energy in the arena shifted. The fans knew they were witnessing the end of an era of silence. The injuries are real. The pain is real. And the lack of protection is a scandal that the WNBA can no longer sweep under the rug. The white girl they hate is the only reason people are watching. The physicality used against her isn't high-level defense. It's the hallmark of a talentless hack. When you can't keep up with someone's skill, you use your elbows and your knees. Alyssa Thomas showed the world exactly what kind of player she is. Instead of playing the ball, she played the person. She leaned her entire weight on a player who was already down, jabbing and poking, looking for a reaction. It's playground bullying disguised as professional sports, and it's making the entire league look like a joke to the rest of the world. Stephanie White's press conferences are becoming a masterclass in deception. She sits there and talks about riding with Caitlin, but her actions on the floor say otherwise. She didn't get a technical because she doesn't have the heart or the will to defend her players. She's too busy making sure she doesn't upset her friends on the opposing teams. It's a conflict of interest that is hurting the Indiana Fever and potentially ruining the career of the most promising prospect the league has ever seen. She needs to go, and she needs to go now. The back injury is the smoking gun in this entire scandal. Why hide it? Why force her to play through it? The internal pressure to keep the CaitlinClark hype train moving is so high that they are willing to sacrifice her long-term health for short-term ticket sales. The fact that she was wearing a brace for weeks without a single official injury report is a violation of league integrity. They tried to hide it until she physically couldn't stand up anymore. And now, the truth is out. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. CaitlinClark's silence was her greatest weapon. But that silence is over. Through her family, her close circle, and the visible evidence on the court, the message is loud and clear. She is not okay. She is being targeted. She is being hurt. And she is being ignored by the people who are paid to protect her. The blessing in disguise that some people see in her injury is actually a curse for the league. If she goes down for the season, the ratings go with her, and the WNBA will return to the shadows where it spent the last 20 years. The fans in Indiana are starting to realize that their own organization is the enemy. They see the coach sniffing and twitching on the sidelines while their star is in pain. They see the front office ignoring the blatant assaults on the court. The loyalty is gone. You can't glaze over the fans and expect them to stay quiet when they see the blatant disrespect. The real fans know that Stephanie White is trash and that the entire management structure needs to be dismantled before they permanently break the best thing to ever happen to them. Imagine being a rookie and having your coach lie to your face while the league lets other players treat you like a wrestling dummy. The psychological toll on Caitlin must be immense. She's playing in a league where the veterans are dapping each other up over her injuries. It's a toxic clique that hates outsiders, especially outsiders who bring more money and attention than they ever could. They want the money Caitlin brings, but they don't want the girl. It's a parasitic relationship that is reaching its inevitable breaking point. Every time Caitlin shoots a three, it's a gamble with her career. The landing space violations are becoming a regular occurrence because players know the refs won't call it. They are literally trying to take her legs out from under her. When she went down against Phoenix, you could see the instant she felt her back seize up. That isn't something you just walk off. That is a chronic issue, exacerbated by a league that refuses to enforce its own rules. The referees are just as guilty as the players throwing the punches. The old guard of the WNBA is making a massive mistake. They think they are protecting their territory, but they are actually destroying their future. By attacking CaitlinClark, they are alienating the millions of new fans who came to watch her play. Nobody wants to watch a sport where the best player is targeted for physical abuse while the coaches and refs look the other way. It's disgusting. It's unprofessional, and it's going to lead to a massive boycott if things don't change immediately. The house is on fire. We need to address the cowardice of the Fever's coaching staff. A real coach would have been on the court, in the ref's face, getting ejected to show their player they have her back. Instead, Stephanie White sat there like she was watching a movie. She didn't have the cojones to stand up to Alyssa Thomas. She didn't have the heart to protect Caitlin. Her lack of action was a green light for every other player in the league to continue the assault. If your own coach won't defend you, who will? The fallout from this game is going to be massive. There are already calls for an internal investigation into how the Fever handled Caitlin's back injury. The firing of personnel and the concealment of medical data are serious allegations that could lead to massive fines or even worse. The league is at a crossroads. Do they continue to allow their superstars to be targeted and injured? Or do they finally step in and clean up the dirty play? The world is watching, and the silence from the league office is deafening. CaitlinClark is more than just a basketball player. She's a movement, and right now, that movement is being met with violence and betrayal. She didn't ask for the target on her back, but she's carrying it with a dignity that her opponents and coaches clearly lack. The injuries she sustained in this game are a direct result of a system that failed her. From the throat punch to the back injury, every hit was avoidable. If the people in charge had simply done their jobs, the silence has been broken, and the truth is ugly. In the end, the truth always comes to light. CaitlinClark might be sidelined for now, but the impact of what happened on that court will be felt for years. The Indiana Fever organization is in a state of emergency, and the WNBA is facing a crisis of character. You can't build a league on the broken backs of your stars while the veterans laugh in the locker room. The silence is over, the lines are drawn, and it's time for everyone to decide which side of history they want to be on.